Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the session on a building fitness indicator, BFI. BFI is a social initiative by Griha Council to contribute towards the welfare of people to tackle the novel corona crisis. BFI is developed as a self-assessment tool that will allow the organizations to measure the preparedness of the workplace for the workforce in order to prevent exposure to COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mr. Sanjay Seth and his team members, Ms. Shelly and Mr. Gautam from Griha Council. I'll give a brief introduction about Mr. Seth. Mr. Seth is a senior director of the Sustainable Habitat Division with the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. TERI is famously called TERI. He is also the chief executive officer of Griha Council, which administers the green ratings for integrated habitat assessment. Prior to joining TERI, he worked with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, Government of India, and headed the vertical on building energy efficiency. Mr. Seth was also the interim secretary of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency and responsible for the administration and financial management of the organization. In this capacity, he provided oversight to the implementation of policies and programs of BEE as well as the National Mission on Enhanced Energy Efficiency. And by training, he is a civil engineer and has more than 30 years of experience in the power sector, both on the supply side and demand side. So now I would like to hand you over to Mr. Sanjay Seth and his team from TERI. Mr. Sanjay Seth.
Thank you very much, Captain Saab. And it's really a pleasure to be with you all, to my own team members from the Griha Council, Shabnam, Namrata, Shelly, and Gautam, who are going to be with us, helping me. This is, as you all know, this is team effort. And we are very proud of our association with the GACS. During the Griha Summit that was held, the 10th Griha Summit, we had the privilege of signing off an MOU with the GACS. And we welcome you to this webinar that we are doing as part of the series of knowledge exchange and taking you through the work that we do. Some of you who probably do not know about the work that we do in the Griha Council, Griha stands for the Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment. And it's a tool which we have created in the Griha Council, which helps you to assess resource efficiency in your entities, in your facilities. And while doing so, it takes you, right from the stages of the concepts to the ultimate operations. It evaluates this holistically across all criteria, or across all various criteria. So we'll be talking at length, since we have about an hour and a half today, where we're going to be spending some time not only explaining the building fitness indicator, but also taking advantage of our association with you. We would also like to kind of briefly introduce the various things that we do at Griha Council. And Shelly has put together a wonderful presentation, which I'm sure that you will enjoy today. And where, of course, essentially she will be talking about the building fitness indicator. And then Gautam would be taking you through the tool, because essentially whatever work we are doing, it's all in the form of a tool. It is to kind of help you to self-assess that how well do you kind of comply with the requirements of sustainability, resource efficiency, and all of that. In the context of the building fitness indicator, of course, it is more to do with the mindsets or the current phase that we are going through. And we are going through very, very testing times, as you all know. And the pandemic crisis has had a huge impact on all of our lives, the way we operate, the way we are looking at things ahead, and the way we are living our lives. I think it is completely, as they are calling it, a new normal. And I think in the days ahead, as these lockdowns start gradually opening up, which we are, I think, currently seeing that the lockdowns are gradually being, eased off. And then there is this scare in everyone's mind that will our workplaces be safe to be returning back to? Would we be, kind of exposed to the infections that the coronavirus is all about? And how do we overcome those fears that are there? And this building fitness indicator that we have put together is actually one of the ways to kind of repose that confidence, both from the side, both on the sides of the workplaces, the people who are there in charge of our workplaces, as well as I think it's very important that we as the workforce or people who are really going to go back, there is a lot of responsibility at our end as well, that how clean and how hygienic do we, how conscious are we about maintaining all of these things and following them to the T. So those are things which are very, very important. This is the building fitness indicator helps you to assess that. But I would, and when, of course, during the presentation, you will be seeing in much greater detail as to what it really talks about. But largely we have been, whenever we have in the GRIA, the way we work is that there are various OMs, office memorandums or guidelines or policies that are issued by the Government of India. And then, in order to implement those policies, one comes up with kind of a performance or a implementation framework that, policies become effective only when they are backed up with very robust implementation frameworks. GRIA actually does that. So if you look at the GRIA tool, where we talk about I'm talking of the GRIA tool where we use it to assess our resource efficiency in buildings, whether it is existing buildings or it is new constructions or it is large campuses or they are small houses. So it's a very diverse kind of tool which helps you to assess each one of them. And there are different levels at which you need to assess these, right? So at the planning stages, if you start incorporating all of this, or if you start using these tools right at the initial design phases, then obviously you are better equipped to have a much greater handle on the work that you do ahead, right? So initial planning is very, very critical, and you integrate it then. Then as you start constructing, it's very important that you see that whether the design intents have now been converted into action points on the ground. So that phase is very important. And then eventually, once the building or once the facility gets fully completed, then during the operations, it is very important. So it takes you through all the three. These are three very critical phases. And then what happens is that normally people forget that, okay, now that I have done my bit, I have put it in my design, I have built it according to the design, I'm now operating it with design as per the design intent, and then we forget about it. But that is where I think we go wrong. It's very important to keep reassessing as we operate, and that is why I think the tool that we have for existing buildings, that plays a very important role, because once your buildings get completed, they become existing facilities, right? And you need to keep monitoring them. And the underlying principles of GRIA, I love this, the one-liner that we have: what gets measured gets managed. And that is true in every aspect of our life, whether it is our own physical, the way we, our physical health are concerned. Over time, we need to keep getting a health checkup done. We keep monitoring and reviewing our health records so that we don't go wrong. Likewise, I think everywhere we need to follow those principles of what gets measured gets managed. And even in whatever we were taught, we used to be eventually put to a test, and we were examined on whatever we learned, and eventually we were given a score. So accordingly, on the same lines, so whether it is the GRIA tool, or whether you will realize that the building fitness indicator that they are going to be talking about today is again a measure of all of these aspects, and it gives you an assessment as to where you stand in terms of the various aspects that we are talking about. Now, as I said, that the GRIA tool, which on one side looks at the various guidelines, the policy briefs, the OMs issued by the government, the standards that are issued by the government, all of them. So that is the basis on which, the foundation on which the GRIA tool was developed. Likewise, on the building fitness indicator, there have been guidelines over the past, I think, 2 months or more. We have been, you've seen a spate of guidelines and OMs being issued by the government in terms of handling the COVID-19. And each time, every 15 days, there is a new set of rules and regulations that are thrown out at us. So, but largely, the guidelines and the benchmarks that have been set by the World Health Organization or our own ministries, such as the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, our Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs as well. Yes, they also have a role to play in this. And then, of course, there are bodies like ISHRE, where they have, you see, we were very fearful that since, it is all to do with the respiratory, this disease is all to do with the respiratory system. What will happen in case we kind of switch on or get into the air-conditioned buildings, or we switch on the air conditioners at home? So whether we would be safe, or whether it would spike up the virus. So ISHRE has come up with a beautiful set of guidelines around COVID-19 on what you need to, or how you need to operate your air conditioning systems, and that they've kind of, again, helped us to overcome that fear that we have within us, that it is safe to be operating your air conditioners as well. So this is the basis on which we have actually put together the building fitness indicator. It's a tool. It's a social responsibility. We are not charging any a fee to it. It's more out of, I think, our youngsters, while they were under the lockdown, their minds, they are very, very wonderful minds that we have in our team. And they kept thinking about what is it that we need to do so that once the lockdowns disappear and we start getting back to work, how do we really instill that confidence among the people that, look, it's okay, it's safe to be getting back to work and all of that. It's a very strange thing that while these orders have been issued by the government, whether it's Government of India or it's even by the private sector, people are very fearful of going back to their workplaces, including in my own team. There are people who are saying that, sir, now that the lockdowns have been eased, how do we go back to work? But that's where we say that, look, हमने तो building fitness indicator बनाया हुआ है, we'll follow whatever we have kind of reached there, and let's follow that, and it will help us to get back to work. And gradually, I'm sure that, people have been talking about herd immunity. That will eventually happen. And yesterday I was speaking to a doctor, and he was telling me that, we made a big howa out of this thing. It is very contagious, no doubt, but it has kind of, we've become very fearful of it, and the fear is now kind of playing in our minds. And even if we are sneezing, or if we have the mildest of cough or cold or anything like that, we start thinking, we straight away start associating with coronavirus. So we need to also understand that there is no such thing. We need to be careful, we need to be cautious, but at the same time, we do not allow this to kind of get the better of us or override us. That's the other thing. So it's a social initiative that we are doing, but at the same time, a word of caution. We are not calling it a rating. We are not calling it a certification. No, we are not doing that. We are just helping you to analyze it. It's a self-assessment tool. It helps you to understand where you are in terms of various things that we will be talking about, in terms of hygiene, in terms of sanitation, in terms of social distancing, all of that. And at the same time, it will also, in case it's not only, it just does not only do a diagnosis, but it also prescribes thereafter, that in case you are not meeting some of the requirements, then what are the recommendations that you need to adopt so that the place becomes a more safe place to be in. And I think with that, I don't want to be doing all the talking. I don't want to steal the thunder from my colleague Shelly, who has put in a lot of effort along with her colleagues to be putting this beautiful. I really like this presentation a lot. I'm really fond of it, and you will also enjoy it as much as I did. And I don't mind seeing it many times. Whenever I see it, I enjoy it even more. So, Shelly, I would want you to take us through the presentation, and thereafter, of course, Gautam, who's been the backbone of the tool, the operations of the tool, as to how the what would I call it, the technical inputs that go in the what would you want to call it, Gautam? The technology, the IT enabling that has been done is all Gautam's thought process. He's the brain behind it. So he will take you through how the tool really operates. And then, of course, we will be glad to answer any questions. And as I said, that we are here not only to preach, but also to learn from you all. You all are an extremely well-read and well-informed audience that we have today. And we hope that we also are able to learn from you as to how we can probably further it into its operations, and also kind of tweak it to suit other, other requirements. So with that, I would hand it over to Shelly, and thereafter we will, once she finishes and once Gautam finishes, we will open it up for discussions. And then of course we have my other colleague Shabnam, who will be also joining us in thanking you all, and also for making her concluding remarks. So with that, thank you very much once again for giving us this opportunity. We are really, really honored to be associated with the GACS. Wonderful work being done by them. And I know they are doing all of this besides the core work that they have in their respective organizations. Thank you once again. And Shelly, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thank you all for joining us for today's presentation on BFI. I am Shelly Mahera, working as Deputy Manager for Griha Council. I'm the speaker for the date for you today. I have my colleague, Mr. Gautam Aswani, here with me, as Mr. Sanjay Seth told you, who's going to be my co-speaker. The presentation here would be done in two parts. The first part, I will take you through the basic concept of BFI. And the second part is going to be the demonstration of the tool, where Gautam will help you in understanding the online functioning of the BFI tool. On that note, let's just begin with the presentation. So we will first of all have the contents, so that you understand that what are going to be your key takeaways for the session today. To begin with, we will have a brief introduction of Griha to understand what Griha is, what Griha Council does. Then we will go to the introduction part of BFI. Here we will get acquainted with BFI, as in what exactly is BFI, the concept behind it, how did it evolve, and then why you as an individual or an employee or an organization owner should rely on this tool. Then we will have the process, where we will understand the broad steps involved in using BFI. This would not be a detailed explanation, as that would be covered by Gautam during the online demonstration. So just the steps. After that, we will have the categories and subcategories, where we will understand the format of the tool and the checklists that are to be filled. Then we will come at the summary part. There you will see the evaluation that you will receive after filling the checklists. Then we will come to the overall intent, that what was the whole point of making BFI. And then we'll come to the online tool that would be demonstrated by Gautam. Last but not the least, we will have the questions and answers from you. So the way we have done it now is that we have muted you, we have put your systems on mute. You can put your questions in the chat box, and then we will take up those questions. Coming to Griha, introduction about Griha. So as CEO Griha Council told us that Griha is green rating for integrated habitat assessment. So when we are saying habitat, we are essentially talking about the urban habitats that we have created for ourselves, which could be your residential buildings, your commercial, institutional buildings, etc. These may be air conditioned, non-air conditioned, and hybrid as well. So we have different benchmarks and standards for all sets of buildings so that they are all treated or evaluated fairly. Now, Griha works as a tool. And when we are saying tool, then what are you supposed to do with this tool? You are going to fill in the data for your respective project that you want to get rated or evaluated under Griha rating. And that data would be the project site areas, the occupancy, the typology, etc. And then there would be certain calculators that we have made, some certain built-in calculators for Griha. They will do all the energy, water, daylight calculations for you. And based on this, you will know the performance of your building. Our tagline, the way sir mentioned, is what gets measured gets managed. So we focus on monitoring essentially, so that you get to see the performance of your building and you measure it. It works exactly like how we receive energy and water bills. So we know whenever we are spending more, we know that the energy consumption has increased at our houses, which is why we start managing it. The same way Griha works, you get to see your performance, and based on that performance, you know which areas are to be paid attention on. Now, Griha has different variants, larger umbrella being Griha, and there are different types of rating systems under it, a total of 9. Swagriha is the first one, which is for the smallest of projects which are registered under Griha and built up area less than 2,500 square meters. Then we have Griha for all the projects with built up area more than 2,500 square meters. Then we have Griha LD for Griha large development projects with site areas more than 50 hectares. And similarly, we have Griha for affordable housing, for existing buildings, for day schools, and for cities. All have different applicability criteria and eligibility too. So this was about Griha in very short. Now we will come to the tool BFI. So as you see, BFI is an acronym for Building Fitness Indicator. This is a self-assessment tool that has been developed to help organizations or building proprietors to check the preparedness of the workplace for their workforces in order to prevent their exposure to COVID-19. And how are they going to measure this preparedness? Through this tool, BFI. Now, very consciously, we've taken the decision of not developing it as a rating or certification because the COVID-19 situation, as we know, is largely unexplored. So we have kept it as a social initiative, as an assessment tool for the organization itself. So the tool has been devised on guidances based on the standard practices followed across the globe, like from WHO and in the country, ISHRAE, MOHF guidelines. WHO is World Health Organization, as we all know, and MOHFW is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And the guidelines that we are going to provide to you are going to be in the form of questions, and later on you will get recommendations. Once again, here I'm reiterating that it is not a rating, not a certification, but purely a self-assessment tool which will help you in understanding the guidelines issued by various competent authorities. So now coming to the idea BFI, from where did it evolve? When was it that we started with the idea of BFI? It all started with the concern regarding getting back to our normal life after the lockdown will be lifted. So most of us, we were scared. We will get back to our offices, places of work. But in all of this, there is a fear at the back of our minds, you know, that is it going to be really okay to be back at these places? How do we ensure that these places are well equipped to take care of us? What about the hygiene and the social distancing part? So basically, if I have to put it down, this fear was the origin of our idea of BFI. Now, if I give you a situation wherein you do not see any difference at your workplace with respect to what you had seen before the lockdown, then you would not get the kind of confidence to get back to work. This fear would subside. This fear would subside only when there is a visible difference in the way your organization is operating. with respect to hygiene, with respect to social distancing parameters. So as an employer, I need to make sure that my workplace is well prepared to welcome my employees post-lockdown. And as an employee, I need to have some confidence that enough measures have been taken to minimize exposure to COVID-19. Now, when we started the work, for us, the first job was to find the right sources, the reliable ones on which the guidelines could be developed. It was then when we started referring the instructions issued by WHO, Indian Ministry of Family and Welfare, Health, Family and Welfare, ISHRE. And as most of you know, that ISHRE is the Indian Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers. So when we started working out the guidelines for ambient air, we were building it basically on ISHRE guidelines. A few of the guidelines have also been taken from the organizations such as European Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, OSHA, CPCB, and MPCB. And these sources have become the foundation of our tool from where we have derived the guidelines. That's why the tool becomes trust for you, because the guidelines have been from such reputed organization and Ministry of India. So if you use this tool now, then the employees working in the organization get some degree of assurance that if not 100% mental peace, then I know that at least something is being done to prevent my exposure to COVID-19. Now, there are three major parameters on which these guidelines have been developed. First and foremost, it is important to set protocols for the smooth operations of the organization. Secondly, we will have to work around the hygiene part. And lastly, on spreading awareness regarding the current pandemic situation. So the tool has been built on these three major parameters. Now we will come to the process. So the online demonstration will happen later when Gautam will explain it to you. But before that, let's quickly look at the steps involved. So the first thing that one is supposed to do is register. The building or organization owner or managers who have the authority to set protocols will register the project with BFI tool. If you are an employee, then you can recommend this to your organization managers and encourage them to take it up. Once you have registered, you will see a checklist there on the tool. This checklist is nothing but guidelines in the form of questions. So when we say, are your employees thermally screened before entering the premises? Then we are recommending to you that do this as a recommended practice, and we will provide a reference link for you on the tool to check other details with respect to this question. You are supposed to answer these questions to understand what is your position right now with respect to the preparedness. Once you have filled in the answers, next step is to submit the inputs. And as soon as the inputs are submitted, a report is displayed on the screen. The same report is going to be sent on the email ID added during the registration process. Coming to the next section of the webinar, that is categories and the subcategories, the format of the tool. So now, based on the three parameters we just discussed, the whole tool has essentially been divided into three categories. The first thing that you will notice when you go to your office is going to be a workplace. Therefore, the workplace becomes our first category. Then we will come to the people around you, the workforce. And the last category would be awareness, because you as an employee need to be aware of your roles and responsibilities in this situation. And you should also be aware of the responsibilities of your employer. Now, these are the checklists that you see. Each of these categories are further divided into three subcategories. So while you're using this tool, these categories would appear as checklists, and these checklists would be filled for the following subcategories. One being the policy part, second, the social distancing part, and third, hygiene. Now we will come to checklist number 1, that is the workplace. In this, the first subcategory that we see is policy. We will ask you to do 5 things here. The first of the things that we will ask you to do is whether you are implementing the policy guidelines provided by the urban local bodies or government for the post-lockdown period. The second point, does your organization have a policy for thermal screening of people? So typically this screening is done with the help of thermal scanners or cameras. These cameras detect the body temperature, and if the body temperature turns out to be more than average body temperature, which as per a study of Stanford University is 97.5 degree Fahrenheit, then the person can be taken aside for further screening. Now, how effective is this procedure? Because people have doubts on the thermal screening procedure. It is right now not announced as a foolproof idea, but a precautionary measure, the first precautionary measure. Now, latest studies also reveal that even asymptomatic people can be carriers. In that case, this might not work, but we will take it as a first precautionary measure. The third point is whether your organization has a policy for social distancing. This is primarily with respect to the rearrangement of workstations and dining spaces and providing barricading at reception areas or areas with high footfall. The fourth thing that we are asking you to do is, does your organization have a policy for waste management? And the last thing is, does your organization have a policy for the post-pandemic scenario with respect to aspects related to spread of the infection? Coming to the second subcategory, which is social distancing. So right now, we have just spoken about having policy for social distancing for workplace, but now we will understand what exactly is to be there in the policy that is supposed to be implemented in the project. In this, we are supposed to do 6 things. The first place that you come across after entering any workplace is the reception area. How would you safeguard that area and people working there are safe? You have to ensure that as well. Provide barricading at places like these. And the barricading could be, let's say, a glass screen or strategically put caution tape, essentially barricading that ensures minimum 1 meter of distance between the employee and any visitor. Now, at places you may find the 2 meter distance is also mentioned. From where have we taken this 1 meter? We have taken it from the MOHFW guide, website. The second thing that we ask you to do is rearrangement of workstations in a way that minimum 1 meter distance is maintained between the employees. Third thing, rearrange the dining space or the cafeteria that you have at your workplace to ensure social distancing. Now, the image that you see here is an example of one such dining space where you probably block every alternate table from use. Fourth thing that we say is provision of an isolation room in case of any symptomatic employee in the organization. So you give them a separate room in case you see that they are persistently coughing. And then later, of course, you can decide on further course of action. Fifth point is floor marking. Wherever you are anticipating queues at such places, have floor markings ensuring minimum 1 meter distance. You must have commonly come across such markings at places like chemist shops, at bus stops. So exactly the thing we are talking about here is what you see around you. And last thing to do is provision of water dispensers in a way that queuing doesn't happen. People do not gather around the dispensers. So enough number of dispensers must be provided to avoid such queuing. And here you can have the floor markings as well. Now we come to the third subcategory, hygiene. Let's talk about hygiene with respect to cleanliness first. Hygiene has one more part in the checklist one, that is with respect to ambient air. Here we will focus on the cleanliness part. This part is compartmentalized into hygiene at spaces, for people, and for items with respect to waste management. So when we talk of cleanliness at workplaces, there are 4 things to be done in the spaces part. You need to have a cleaning schedule in place. You should ideally identify the common spaces that need regular cleaning as per the schedule. Then you ensure that all these areas are cleaned as per the guidelines issued. So for example, when we say cleaning of spaces, indoor spaces, the MOHF has formulated guidelines that tell you how to disinfect floor surfaces. They recommend usage of 1% hypochlorite in water for mopping. We have added these links in the document in the tool later on. Then same guidelines are to be referred for cleaning of toilets. In the guidelines, in the MOHF guidelines, it's been precisely told as to how the commode, the lid, the wash basin, tap fittings, flooring, and even the soap dispensers are to be cleaned. And lastly, we have all the frequently touched areas. How are they supposed to be cleaned? So they must be cleaned time to time to avoid any spread of infections. Now talking about hygiene for people and for foreign items. The first thing to do when we talk about hygiene for people is to provide sanitizers with minimum 70% alcohol in them as per MOHF guidelines. These sanitizers should be provided near high contact zones. So for example, if there has been a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine that tested how long the virus can remain stable on different kinds of surfaces within a controlled laboratory setting. They found out that it was still detectable. The virus was still detectable on copper for up to 4 hours, on cardboard for up to 24 hours, of which your delivery boxes are made up of, and on plastic and steel for up to 72 hours. So considering all of this, we have included this clause in our guidelines. Now we will come to the last part of this checklist 1, that is waste management. There are 6 things that are supposed to be done in the hygiene part. First is provision of covered multicolored dustbins for segregation of different kinds of waste, including dustbins for disposal of PPE, the personal protective equipment. Now, why is the emphasis on covered dustbins? Because there is an increased risk of spread of infection and spillage, and easily covered bins avoid any such issue. And multicolored bins because we want to ensure segregation of waste. Second thing that we want you to do is providing disposable bags inside the bins so that there is no sticking of waste around. The third thing to do is placing dustbins at common places. Now this is because of lack of dustbins at common areas, people may just throw waste haphazardly. To avoid that situation, we want to have dustbins at all common areas. Then the fourth point is a separate closed room for storage of. Then the building managers must ensure safe disposal of waste from the collection area. And while all this is being done, high level of hygiene must be maintained to control the spread of any kind of infections through these waste collections. So for example, when you're transferring waste from the collection area to the disposal van, disposable bags would ensure that no spillage happens. These are nothing but basically very small steps towards a healthy environment. Now there are people involved in collection and disposal of these waste items. The provision to be made for those staff members would be discussed when we talk about checklist number 2, that is workforce. The last thing that is required to be done under this subcategory is disinfecting cleaning equipment as recommended by MOHF guidelines. Now we will come to the next category of hygiene, that is for ambient air. The reason why ambient air has been taken into consideration for this tool is because it has been specified in ISHRAE guidelines that there have been studies that suggest that coronavirus has been detected, has been isolated from swabs taken from exhaust vents in rooms occupied by infected patients, and which is why it becomes essential for us, which means that HVAC systems and filters require special attention. So in this part, we will have to do 4 things. So here is the first thing, that you have to make provision of exhaust and small space, common spaces for air change and to maximize ventilation. Next, are there provisions for treatment of microbial contaminants, such as do you have any carbon filters in your system, HVAC system? Are there high efficient filters in there? The third thing to be considered is whether the building temperature is maintained within the comfort bands of 24 to 30 degrees Celsius as per ISHRAE. Of course, this is after accounting for the air velocity, relative humidity, and clothing part. Now, as per the WHO, the virus can spread no matter how sunny or hot the weather is. However, as per some recent studies, COVID-19 has been found highly stable on surfaces for 14 days at 4 degrees Celsius, just one day at 37 degrees Celsius, and 30 minutes only at 56 degrees Celsius. So we see that temperature does have some effect on COVID-19. The last action to be taken is formulation of operation and maintenance guidelines for the HVAC system, including filters installed in the building. Now, after filling all these answers, we have reached the second category. That is the workforce. Now, who is the workforce? People like us who are going to be working at these offices, including the housekeeping and service staff. Now, with respect to the first subcategory, policy under checklist 2, the first question that arises is whether the organization has policy for the employee work schedule. So you could allow flexi hours, also work from home. You could also choose to go for employee scheduling, wherein you can give strategies such as office working on just 50% attendance every day. The second thing that the employer needs to do is to ensure that they have policy for symptomatic employees. When there is a policy, then you are sure of what actions are to be taken in case such situation arises, and there is no last minute panicking. Now we have spoken about the employees who are working within the buildings. Now let's focus on the visitors, the people who would come from outside. So the third thing that is required to be done here is having hygiene policy for visitors or delivery professionals. Now, what exactly is supposed to be put in this policy with respect to BFI would be discussed later on in the hygiene part of workforce. Right now, we will just focus on the policies to have in place. Coming to the next subcategory, social distancing, only one thing is supposed to be done here, and that is training your employees for social distancing. Here you will have to tell the employees the importance of social distancing and encourage them to not come in close contact while talking or while deliberating on different issues in the office. Then we come to the third subcategory. Here you are supposed to take care of 5 things. So the first thing is the provision of PPE. This is directly for the workforce, essentially for the symptomatic employees. Respiratory hygiene must be maintained as per WHO and MOHF guidelines to prevent the infection from spreading. Second is provision of PPE for housekeeping staff. Now, when we are talking of PPE for housekeeping staff, then we are talking about provisions of 3-layered masks, heavy duty gloves, and rubber boots. And this is exactly as per MOHF guidelines. One should ensure that all the disposable PPE must be disposed of safely and hands should be washed carefully after taking off the PPE. The third point to be taken care of is health checkup for housekeeping staff, because this is the most susceptible group of people in the organization. And if we are talking about a hospital or a clinic, it becomes even more difficult for the people to work in such environment. Therefore, it is of utmost requirement that we pay attention to their safety. Talking about the visitors, there should be provision of sanitizers at the main entry. And last thing that you're supposed to do is visitors should be screened thermally before they enter the premises. Now, ideally, you should not allow any visitors inside. For example, you can avoid the entry of delivery personnel, but in case of meetings with outsiders, these 2 things should be of great benefit to you. With this, we come to the last category of the tool, checklist 3, the awareness part. Why is awareness so important? In fact, this is perhaps the most important of all, because in a situation where we all are collectively facing this pandemic threat, it is vital for all to be careful about their actions and take precautions wherever necessary to stop the spread of the virus. Therefore, with respect to the first category, what we need you to do is ensure policy for dissemination. And secondly, have a dedicated team who has been trained to address queries of the workforce with respect to the virus spread and infections caused. Now, in the awareness part, the social distancing and hygiene things have been clubbed, and collectively 2 things are supposed to be done for this. First is having posters displayed on importance of social distancing and hygiene, including respiratory hygiene. And where are you supposed to display these posters? This is a question that arises, so we need to understand that wherever there is high footfall, there all we need to have such signage. Second and last thing to do is the organization should provide timely alerts to the workforce on basic preventive measures during their stay in the workplace. With this, we have completed all our checklists on the tool successfully. Now, towards the end, you will see a report wherein for every questions that you have answered in yes, you will get 1 point. And this result would be displayed for each category and for the subcategory individually. When the result is displayed like this, you can gauge where you are falling behind and how you need to ramp up your performance. And there you see a meter that shows whether you are doing good, poor, or very good with respect to all these measures that we are supposed to take. Now, all this is said and done, but what happens in cases where you have said no? How would you know that what is supposed to be done and what are the right guidelines to be followed in such cases? In such cases, we will provide recommendations for you. So let me explain this with an example. So for the question, are alcohol-based sanitizers provided at all common areas? Let's say you have answered no. Then based on MOHF guidelines, we will tell you why is not providing hand sanitizer the wrong approach and what should be the right way of providing the sanitizers. These sanitizers should consist of minimum 70% alcohol and they should be placed at locations of frequent touch. And with this, we will provide you with the reference link so that you can look for any other detail that you want pertaining to this particular topic. When you do all this, with respect to the workplace and workforce, there is some level of confidence that is inculcated within you that yes, now my workplace is prepared to act against the pandemic threat. And ensuring this confidence was our first intent. This is one step in the direction to enhance the health and well-being of the building occupants. And with mentally relaxed and physically fit employees, we believe that the organizations would soon make up for the time lost during the lockdown. With this, I will request Gautam to take us through the online tool. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Shelly, for that informative presentation. Hello, everyone. My name is Gautam Aswani. I work as Deputy Manager in Griha Council, and I sincerely hope that each and every one of you and the people around you are keeping well in these vulnerable times. Now, when we enter into lockdown 4.0, as it is popularly called, or as I like to call it, try not to fall sick, season 4. Since many states have lifted their restrictions on almost all activities and people are looking forward to, resume their normal lifestyle, the need to be cautious has become more dire. And I'm glad to see so many participants in today's webinar, where the agenda is to learn about how we can prepare our offices to open while ensuring maximum safety of our employees. Up till now, you have seen what all measures should be taken in an office for ensuring a secure workplace. And now we move on to the tool, which will help you self-evaluate how good is your preparedness against the spread of this pandemic. Our idea behind making this application was just to collate as much relevant information and guidelines as possible under one roof, so that other people would not waste their time searching for the same things over and over again. So without wasting any more time, let's go straight to the online tool to see how it works. Now, some people call it an app, some call it a website, some call it an online tool. You may choose to call it whatever you like. We developed it as a web application, which essentially means that there is no need for you to download anything. You can just, take your mobile or on your desktop, you can just open your browser, any browser of your choice, and simply type, like I have Google Chrome opened on my desktop. So I'll just type on the address bar bfi.grihaindia.org, and it will take to the landing page of BFI tool. So I hope everyone can see the landing page. If you don't want to remember this address, or if you somehow forget this address, don't worry, just go to Google, and on Google just you type BFI space Griha, and when you press enter, the first link that you see here is the BFI Griha ID, BFI Griha link. And when you click on that link, it will again take you to the same building fitness indicator page, the landing page that we see. So yes, it's really easy to reach the application. Now, coming to the application, the core idea when we were developing this application was to provide awareness in as simple a manner as possible. So it's really a very clean and self-explanatory application. Like on the landing page, it just says, welcome to Griha's new initiative to check your building/organization's preparedness against the COVID-19 pandemic. If you are an organization and would like to evaluate yourself, click on login. If you are an individual interested in learning, click on learn more. So let's click on learn more because we are individuals and we are interested in learning. So let's see what learn more has to offer. So when we click on learn more, it shows you a checklist. It opens a checklist for you. This is your to-do list. It is a set of questions under the same categories and subcategories as we saw in Shelley's presentation. So we have all the categories here, like workplace, we have workplace. And coming down, we have the second category, which is workforce. And the third category, which is awareness. Also, we have all the subcategories with us, like policy, social distancing, and hygiene. And we've already seen all these parameters in the presentation just now by Shelley. Here in the checklist tab, they are just formulated in form of questions, simple yes or no questions that you need to ask yourself as an organization. Eventually, checklist is just a sneak peek inside the tool, meaning that when you will log in to evaluate yourself, these are the same questions that will be asked there. So if you're just satisfied with knowing the questions, or you just want to prepare yourself before beginning the evaluation, checklist is the place for you. But if you want to go one step further, see all the recommendations, check your preparedness score, and generate a report, then you can log in and do all these things. So we'll just go to the home page again. Just click on home. Right, so home page, and we seem to be ready to evaluate ourselves. So just we'll click on login and begin our process. So yeah, clicking on login, and it will open a login page for me. Here you go, here's the login page. If I'm already registered with the BFI application, then we'll just enter the email ID and password, the BFI password here, click on login. Or if you don't have an account yet, then you can just click on sign up and register yourself. So let's do that. If you don't have an account, we'll click on sign up. So it opens a registration page for us, and these are just the basic details. Like I said, that this application was awareness purpose, so we have only asked the bare minimum things that needed to be asked, like your email address and a few of your organization related details. So all right, let's start by filling all these things. So first is my email address. So my official email ID is Gautam dot Aswani at grihaindia.org. Here you go. My organization name is Griha Council. Type of organization, here you just have to enter, what kind of work does your organization do. Is it a banking organization, IT, media, research, whatever work your organization does, you just have to enter that type of. So we are a research organization, so I'll just type research. Number of employees, in Delhi we have around 55 employees in this office, so I'll just enter 55. The location would obviously be New Delhi. And then I just choose any password of my choice. Now, one thing that I've noticed about people when they choose a password is that they tend to keep the same password for every account that they have on any website. I do not recommend that practice, but people have told me that it's easier to remember it that way. But please, like, it is also makes you more vulnerable is what I tell them. So you may choose just any basic password. It is not something that needs to be protected with a high security password. So refrain from using passwords which are already there in your other accounts. Just by type any simple password. And even if you forget your password, just don't worry. If somehow you forget your password, you can just register again with using these same details, and it will override your previous password. The new password will override your previous password automatically. So just don't worry about forgetting your password. So I'll just just choose any password. I'll type here. And also on the repeat password, and click on register. So it says registration completed. Please check your email ID for confirmation mail. I'll just click on OK. And then go to my email ID and see if I have received any confirmation mail from BFI regarding my registration. so here I have a mail with me. If everyone can see this, so I think it's lagging a bit, but eventually it will open. All right, so here I have the mail. It says, welcome to BFI. We are delighted, and all the other content that is there in the welcome mail. If you have any other questions, just write to us at bfi@grihaindia.org. Right, so we have this welcome mail with us. Now we'll straight away move to the application. So this is our application. This is the login page that was there. We'll enter the details. The email ID was gautam.aswani@grihaindia.org. And the password was just a simple password. So entering all the details, I click on login, and here I go. All right. So I have now come inside the tool, and it is the welcome page after logging in. It's just a set of instructions here. Again, as I said, it is a neatly developed thing, and everything that you need to know is here right now on your screen. This is the only thing that you need to know about the tool. That it is divided into 3 groups that we already know, and all the subgroups already know. So since we already know all this information, let's just click on begin evaluation and start with the evaluation process. So as we click on the begin evaluation tab, it takes us to this evaluation platforms. Now notice that this platform is neatly divided into workplace, workforce, and awareness, all the 3 sections. And I can just jump in between these sections by clicking on the tabs. And on any of the tabs I can click, and I can jump from one section to another. And below I can see that all the subsections are also there. So first subsection is policy on the number 1 stepper. When I click on the second stepper, it shows me the second subsection, which is social distancing. All right, so all the 3 sections and all the sections. Now let's start evaluation. So these are questions which we choose answers. The first question on the policy tab is the organization implementing the policy guidelines provided by the local authorities or government for the post-lockdown phase? So this is our first question. Since we are, following all the guidelines that the local authority has issued, I'll just click on yes. Next, does the organization have a policy for screening of employees at the entrance, be it workforce or visitors? So yes, we do have a policy for that as well. So I'll choose yes for an answer. The next question is, does the building or organization have a policy for social distancing at spaces like workstation, reception, dining area, etc.? So yes, we also have a policy for this. So I'll just click on yes. So there are all these questions. You can just go through them. I really urge you to go through all these questions and see for yourselves. So I'll just, and when you're done answering all the questions of any particular page, when you're done, all the particular page, you can just click on next at the very bottom, and it will take you to the next page. It's really that simple. And now we come to the next subcategory, which is social distancing. So are the workstations rearranged to ensure social distancing? Yes, they are. So I'll just click on yes. Is the reception area guarded or altered to ensure social distancing? Minimum 1 meter. So we do have altered our reception area. So I'll click on yes as well. Right. And just, just to show you what actually this tool does and how it helps you, I'm just going to leave all these as no. Like, I'm not going to go through all these. I really urge you to log in and just see for yourselves what all these questions are. But for right now, I'm just going to leave all these as no and click on at the very bottom. I'll just click on the next to go to the next page. All right. We'll just answer a couple of questions here. Are the indoor spaces being cleaned and sanitized more than 2 times of a day? So yes, I was ensured by my maintenance team that they are ensuring all these guidelines. Are toilets being cleaned and sanitized more than 2 times of a day? So yes, in the guidelines that we received, they did ensure us that they'll be doing all sorts of cleaning. And I think it was like every 2 hours they'll be cleaning this stuff. So once again, I'm just leaving it as no. So if you don't select the answer for any question, if you leave any question as it is, so the system or the tool automatically takes no as an answer for that particular question. So you cannot leave anything blank. If you leave anything blank, then the system will consider it as no and move on. After all this, I just click on the next tab and go to the next subcategory. So now we have the 4th subcategory and all the related questions with it. Now, why I have left all these questions blank is just to show you how this tool helps you, to get more out of it. So when you click on the next button, after reaching the 4th step, when you click on the next button, you see an analysis of your performance in this particular category, the workplace category. You'll see a complete analysis of your, so here it says that you have successfully completed the form for workplace. Based on your inputs, your performance level and recommendations are given below. So we can see that in policy, we have scored 80%. For it to say that, for all the questions that were there in the policies part, 80% of those questions we have answered as yes. And there were, few questions, actually one question for which we had answered no. So for all the questions for which we had selected no as an answer, this tool generates a recommendation. Like in policy part, the first recommendation that we are seeing is develop a policy to prepare for the post-pandemic scenario. Like this question, we had left no answer. So that is suggesting us that it's a recommendation from our side. Since you can see that in hygiene section, like the very bottom, you can see hygiene section 0%. The screen will just take time to load. So at the bottom, you can see when it scrolls down that hygiene, we have 0% score because all the questions were answered as no. So it is showing us all the recommendations that need to be followed. And when we have, seen all the recommendations, we just click on the next tab and go to the next category. So we'll just randomly select yes or no. It's the same as in workplace and workforce and awareness. We'll just randomly select yes or no as our answers, just for, seeing what the tool does. And reach the, after clicking on the next tab, we'll just reach the analysis part of this particular segment, the workforce segment. All right, so here it shows that the first policy is 67% we have complied with it. Social distancing, there was really only one question in social distancing and we answered it yes, so it's showing 100% of the compliance. In hygiene, we had left all answers as blank, so it is showing 0% compliance. And as you can see below it, all the recommendations are listed. So what you need to follow are listed, and we click on next, go to awareness tab, and just leave this one blank just for test purposes and answer a couple of questions on the social distancing and hygiene tab and click on next. So after we answer the questions on social distancing and hygiene tab and clicking on the next button, it shows us the analysis of Now, these analyses were individual analysis for workplace, workforce, and awareness. So these were all individual analysis and individual recommendations under this segment. So at the very bottom, when you come, you can see a submit button here. So what submit button does is it generates a report for you to see how well you have performed. So when we click on the submit button, it shows us that our overall preparedness level is fair, and it shows us that in workplace segment, this is our score. This is what, once again, let me remind you that this is not a rating, because Griha is usually known for giving rating to projects. We give rating to green building projects, but this is not a rating. It's just a self-evaluation tool for you to know how well you are prepared based on your own. So it's just a self-assessment tool. We are not rating anything or of that sort. It just says that out of all the questions, 67% you have answered as yes. So, all right. So we had seen how this submit thing works. And if we want a detailed report of this thing, then we can just come above and click on the view detailed report tab. There's a view detailed report tab. When we click on that, then we'll see the complete detail, like our organization name, organization location, the overall status and when it was evaluated. So, and also our overall preparedness level. So this all we can see. Below, the best thing that happened is this is the detailed report, what all questions were asked and what were your particular responses for those questions. And the best thing is we have also provided the link from where we had picked up these recommendations. So notice the difference between checklist and this tab is that checklist also, gives you these questions. All these questions are listed in the checklist section too. But when you log in and evaluate yourself, that is the time when you really get the recommendations from the tools end to that. If you are not following anything, these are the recommendations. And if you want to study that in detail, if you want to go in detail that who has actually recommended these practices, then here we have also provided a link for all these referencing. Like for example, in social distancing, the first question that we are asking is, are the workstations rearranged to ensure social distancing? So this is the first question that we are answering, that we are seeing. So if we click on the link, so it opens the WHO document, which was published on 3rd March 2020. This is getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. And here you can see all the, why you should maintain social distancing and how you can maintain social distancing. So all these things you can see in this document. So this is the benefit of logging in, that you also see the references of all the links. This is also attached here. So you can just go to any link and see if you want to study that in detail. Now coming to the very bottom. So this is the detailed report that is generated along with the score. At the very bottom, there's also a send report to mail button. You can see at the very bottom, there's a button there, send report to mail. If I click that button, so what it will do is essentially what it says, that it will send this entire report of my performance on my email ID, as it has rightly said that it has done. Detailed report sent to your registered email ID. So if I now go and check my email ID, there should be a report there. Yes, there it is, BFI analysis report. So we have a BFI analysis report that has been sent to me by the BFI tool. At the top, you can see that report. And when I click on that report, so it says what it said in the previous panel. These are all the questions. These were my answers, and along with the references for all the links. And at the top, it has my overall status. So since we had left most of the questions blank, so the overall status, as you can see when I scroll to the very top, is fair, since we had left most of the questions blank. But when you will enter the correct details, it will show you your preparedness level. So whatever, there are like 4 preparedness level as per this tool. There is poor and fair and good and very good. So these are the 4 preparedness level. And this is the entire report that gets generated. Coming back to the tool. So this is just the entire. We click on log out and it logs us out, and it gives leads us to the same landing page that we had in the very beginning. And there are just a few buttons here. Apart from the login and learn more button at the bottom, there are only 3 buttons at the top, which says home, checklist, and about. Home is the same home that is we are seeing right now. Checklist is eventually it takes you to the learn more or the checklist segment. It is the same segment. And if you want to know more about this application or about Griha Council, then you can click on the about at the very top, and it will tell you more about this initiative as well as about Griha Council. Further, if you want to know more about Griha, just click on the bottom button, know more about Griha, and it will take you to the Griha website. So yes, so this is about Griha. The domain is grihaindia.org if you directly want to know about Griha. We also have the building fitness indicator banner here. So that was it from my end. That was the entire tool. It is really a very simple tool, and once you log into it, the address is bfi.grihaindia.org, and once you visit this platform, so it's just a self-explanatory tool from there on. And I hope each and every one of you would use it to your benefit, and you will just see that how good is your organization's or your building or your office's preparedness level. So that's it from my side. Thank you and stay safe, everyone. So I think we'll have the question and answer round now, if I'm not wrong. So I'll just pass on to our CEO, Mr. Sanjay Seth. He'll be answering your questions for you. So, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gautam. That was excellent. I hope that our participants enjoyed it as much as us sharing it with them. There are some colleagues who we have been associated. I find Samir there, and Samir, thank you very much for this opportunity. And yes, I have been in the chat box. I was finding mostly questions on. It was mostly talking about saying that they found this interesting, but there were not very many questions. But if there are any questions, and then I think 1 or 2 questions which someone asked was, what should be there in the isolation room? What is the best disinfectant to be used? Look, we are not in this business of doing this bit. What we have done is that that's why we say that we have used the references and the guidelines, and we have provided those references to these guidelines so that one can go to those guidelines, see for themselves as to the best way of doing it. We have only to create and put everything at the back end of this tool so that it helps you to find the answers. Okay. We are not going to be doing, because tomorrow, if we start describing all of this, then we'll be taking on the responsibilities of both WHO and Ministry of Housing and the Health and Family Welfare, as well as a doctor's role and all. I don't think so. We need to go on that path. We should just stick to the areas that we have competence on, and that would be my simple answer to that. But if any other queries, suggestions that you would like us to answer, more than happy, of course, time permitting, and I'm completely in the hands of Colonel Ashok Prabhakar and Captain Naresh Kakkar.
So a quick thing, perhaps, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I'm perhaps taking just a minute or so, and then what Colonel Ashok and you you, and I would talk to Colonel Prabhakar also. We will set up a call after this, and perhaps we'll see that how we can make sure that this reaches to majority of the audience who are a part of it, part of our community, almost 5,000 of them, so that they could take maximum benefit out of it. And beautifully designed, it gives a lot of insight on how it is done and what should be taken care of. And if there are some things, we will definitely collate these questions and share it with you. That Colonel Prabhakar or Jatin can do, and with us also, I think we will connect offline, sir. And thank you once again for taking time. So thank you so much.
Samir, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Samir. And I think that's what the intent is, that when we have done something, and there are about 250 organizations, and I mean 100. I think the organizations will be less. Individuals are about 250, and organizations would be around about 170 or odd, who have kind of registered using this tool. We would encourage, your platform is an appropriate platform to be reaching out to very many people. And this is, look, there's no charge to it. And we are just trying to help people out to assess their, and protect them from the vulnerabilities. So really appreciate your commitment. Thank you very much.
So some people have mentioned that Captain Elroy, you wanted to ask something? Elroy? Somebody was asking, would you like to your views on work from home for the next 2 to 3 months? Sanjay Kapoor is asking, how long is this work from home going to be continuing?
No. So this is something which is not within our control. We have to.
I fully understand.
Abide by the announcements of the government, follow the orders by the government, and our own organizations, whatever is kind of prescribed by them, we will have to follow them. But yes, but definitely this is one of the things that very many organizations are now looking at very seriously, seeing how we could probably work out of home. And as Gautam also mentioned in his, in the assessment tool, how social distancing is very, very important. And in a country which is overpopulated like us, social distancing is something which can really go out of the window. Yesterday, if you would have seen the news, the government of Delhi had said that there will be 20 people in a bus, and the bus was bursting at its seams when, when people got into the bus. So social distancing is something which is very, very difficult to be adhered to in our country. So one of the best ways of maintaining social distancing is that half of the staff works from home and half of them come to office, and then you can do it on a rotational basis. So I think we are going to very soon follow that, and that will help us to occupy alternate workstations, so that 2 gaz ki duri is maintained. That's what we plan to do.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I'm just reminiscing over the last 2 months, initially when we started with this lockdown one, so that time we were looking at this beast called COVID-19. We started watching it from various angles. Gradually started sort of getting used to it. So we started understanding, okay, so, when we started looking at activities that had to be done in the offices, so we realized the kind of changes. Right, so you and your team, they mentioned about the activities, the changes, the hygiene aspects, other aspects at the workplace, in the cafeteria, at the entrances, the activities that have to be done. Now, today you've gone even a step beyond that also. After we learned to ride this beast, we said, okay, what next? Now you come to the stage where we're not only going to be riding the beast, we're going to be competing with the others who are in the race now. Yeah. So with this, we come to a stage where we are fully in control of this beast. We're riding it, strongly. And now I can see where do I stand as far as my organization is concerned in this race called COVID-19, getting over the animal called COVID-19. And that's where, we could come forward and tell our management, our teams, our employees that rest assured we are good to go. Our organization is fully geared up for this activity. See, this is a test that organization like GRIA has mentioned, and we stand so well on that kind of a test. So I think it's a wonderful tool that you made, sir. Wonderful tool. Thanks to you, Shelly and Gautam, for all the activities that have gone into it. We really appreciate. And I'm sure, sir, there are more. People are coming up with some queries. We will list them out together. We'll send it across to you. basically, because we are short on time, but one thing is standing out very clearly, what you mentioned, what can't be measured can't be managed. So we have to measure, we have to lay down, this is a good measurement tool that you lay down, in which we stand precisely, understand precisely where we stand. I think it couldn't have been better, sir. Perfectly fit. The flow was so beautiful. You laid down the ground rules so beautifully. Thereafter, Shelly came forward and explained the whole aspect. And thereafter, Gautam closes nice and proper with the complete tool as such. Folks of GSCS, please go ahead, register yourself into this thing. Go ahead, understand this thing. And Griha and we at GSCS, we already have an MOU. So it's wonderful to take this MOU together ahead, sir. And I'm sure we'll have more things together. Folks, Mr. Seth has been very considerate, and another 2 weeks down the line, he's going to be giving another talk on sustainability from his level at TERI, apart from Griha, where he occupies a very senior level at TERI also. So he's going to be coming up on sustainability and green building councils, which is again something very close to us. We all understand the new normal is, if we had been taking aspects of green building seriously, half these problems wouldn't have been in place only. So Mr. Seth, we look forward to that aspect, that session of yours also down the line.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we will be talking about, since we are talking about working from homes and how important it is to maintain, the air qualities, the thermal comforts, and all of those things which are the backbone of any green building. So how they become even relevant, especially given the current times that we are in. So we will probably share some of our experiences of green buildings and, well-being, working out of these buildings and out of them. So we will share our experiences, and we hope that you would be able to find them of use. So that's the next session that we will be doing. I think it's sometimes slated in June 8th or something like that. That is what we were told.
We'll come back to you. So 2 to 3 weeks from now, maybe normally we do Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, we'll come back to you, sir.
Yeah. So there is a date around which we have been told. So we will be ready for that. Thank you.
Mr. Seth, I can see 1 or 2 questions coming up. Captain Alroy Kaleko is asking, can we use this tool along with ISHRAE guidelines for HVAC?
Yeah. So in fact, this tool, one of the guidelines that it refers to is the ISHRAE guidelines. So as I said, as even Shelly said in her presentation, if you saw that slide where there were about 6 logos which she had put up there, one of them was ISHRAE's logo, saying that these are the backbone on the foundation on which this tool has been developed. So the WHO standards, the CPCB norms, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare guidelines, OSHO, all of these, they have been the foundation on which we have created this tool. So ISHRAE is there. In fact, we have been telling people that, one of the questions that I think one of your colleagues, participant had asked, that how do we go about whether it is safe to be using air conditioners or not? We said that ISHRAE has come up with very specific guidelines as to how do you use air conditioners in your homes and your workplaces, including your, cars and all. The idea is that you have to use it with ventilation and the maintaining certain humidity levels. So it's very well defined there. I think we should practice all of that. We should use them. And GSCS has, I think, circulated the ISHRAE guidelines. If you don't have it, we can provide you the link, and everyone is free to kind of access them.
We have, sir. We have. Thanks for that. We have shared that also. And Sandeep Nalavade is asking, Team Griha will be very useful if you can get report generated in PDF or Excel. So Sandeep, this will be available on our GSCS website. You will have it being uploaded there, and you can access it from there directly. Thereafter. Folks, if there's nothing else, we can thank our guest for the evening. Thank you, Mr. Seth. Thanks to you and your team for this wonderful presentation, wonderful session, really.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for connecting. So it was likewise, it was wonderful for us to be connecting with you all and seeing the wholehearted, participant by most of your members. And we look forward to our continued association in the future as well. So thank you very much once again.
Goodbye, sir. Best wishes.
Thank you. And thank you to my team, without which we would not have been able to do what we did. Okay, so thank you very much.